invite everybody to just sit and close your eyes for a couple minutes. Welcome to everybody. It's the second day of broadcast with the 12 Elements of One. Thank you everybody for coming here live, and at home, thank you for watching and participating. Really enjoying this myself. And today the topic is nourishment. And as I was creating the topics, the first topic of being human was quite a natural starting point, and then that second topic, where do we go from being human? You can kind of think of it as the baby being born, and that's being human right there. That moment of being human, that moment of becoming, and then that second step is becoming aware that you have a body and connecting to the nourishment of the mother. And it's that point in the process of evolution. It's such an important point mentally as well, the place of connection to nourishment inside us, the core of being and how to be in the world comes from that. Here to present on nourishment is Maya Adjani, and she is an incredible nourisher and nurturer, and she loves to nourish people through raw foods, through breathwork, through dance, through play, and through a deep connection to helping people to connect deeply to their own being, their own state of feeling nurtured inside themselves. And I'm just going to guide everybody back into a short meditation on nourishment, and then I'll trade places with Maya, and she'll guide you through the rest of the day. So go ahead and close your eyes again. Take a few deep belly breaths. And just in a deeply intuitive way, just with that in-breath, and then with the out-breath, just fall into that place of love within you. Just whatever comes, fall into that place. Whatever that brings up for you. You fall into your body and experience home, nourishment, a good place to start your journey in life.
As you continue to breathe here, relax more deeply into your bones, into your own skin. Let's take a few breaths together to ease the body and the mind. We'll inhale through the nose and pause at the top for a moment, and then exhale, just sigh the breath out through your open mouth. And do that several times. Feel free to make a sound. Once more, deep, nourishing breath. And let it go. And I feel so grateful to be here with all of you to speak about nourishment. And I would like to begin by sharing a story about Mother Teresa. And then go into the entry points that remind us of how life is nourishing us all the time, that we may forget. And finally end with a meditation for us to connect more deeply with that. So, when Mother Teresa first came to the United States, she went all over the U.S. and really got to know the people, and she had the eyes to see what was happening here. And someone asked her at the end of her visit, "So, what did you think about our country?" And she looked very concerned, and she said, "I feel for your people. There's great poverty here. Great poverty." And the person speaking with her said, "What do you mean? You know, here we are, the richest nation in the world. The technology is overflowing, and we have the best fashion. And what more could you want?" It was really, this person was awestruck by her response. And she said, "Well, there's great spiritual poverty in this country." And what she really meant by that, what I got from it, is that we're starving for love. We're starving for connection. And not just the connection to another person, but to life itself. The connection to life itself. And so I began to really contemplate her words, and what does that mean to be human, to be starving for love? What is the deepest nourishment? How can we shift that? And so it begins right there with her own insight, the spiritual poverty. So, who am I really? Am I connected to life, or am I separate from life? Am I safe in my body, or is it really, really scary to be here? My favorite definition of trauma is a disconnection from the here and now, from the present moment. All of our neuroses, all of the violence in the world, all of the bloodshed, and all of the ways that we judge and sabotage ourselves stem from that confusion about who we actually are and what we actually are. The truth is that there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with any living being. that we are whole, that we were born from a state of wholeness, and that we return to a state of wholeness. The truth is that love is breathing us in every single moment, even when we're judging ourselves. It's still there, effortlessly moving through our breath. So, are we really this pile of poop that we believe we are? Are human beings really this, just this devastated species that are just completely confused? Well, yes, our experience has been that, for sure, in many ways, that sense of disconnection. And yet, the reality remains that we are all connected to the one relationship at all times, whether we forget or not. It's there. It's there and it's breathing through us. So, I'd like you to just take 3 breaths for a moment to just contemplate that. Let your eyes rest closed. Relax into your toes. So the good news is that whenever we are disconnected in some way, whenever we experience disconnection or separation, that our body tells us right away, because we feel tension, anxiety, and fear. The body never lies to us. It's always telling us the truth. It's an indicator that our mind is in some kind of a structure or pattern belief of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, yada, yada, yada. Whatever the story is, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We have so many different intricate ways of armoring ourselves. So they're all just these masks that we can wear. They're these masks that come up and they cover our vision, our perception of life itself. And that mask really limits our perception to just that lens of whatever the story is. The little girl who is never seen, the little boy who was never allowed to really speak the truth without being physically punished. Whatever it is, many intricate ways of armoring. The baby, the child, does it need to armor itself? Does it need to protect itself in any way? Does the flower need to protect itself? Does it need to decide, I'm not going to grow here. I'm not going to bloom here. Even though the sun is shining and all the conditions are met for this flowering to happen. So flowers say, oh no, I'm not going to open up. It's too scary here. I'm out of here. No, it just blooms. It blossoms. It breathes in, it breathes out. It shines its beauty for us all to experience, for us all to breathe that in. So the next piece of this is, okay, you know who you are. You know that you are love, that you are loved by life, that anything other than that is just simply not true. Yay. So now what? Well, any farmer will tell you that in order to have nourishing food grow from land, that soil has to be vibrant. That soil has to dance with life. That soil has to be full of minerals. That soil has to be watered it is the same with the soil of our hearts. So if we are starving for love and we're starving for connection, one of the first places to go is to your own heart and to look at the condition of the soil of your heart and what's happening there. So, what are the places in our humanity? What are the places in just simply being a human being every day that remind us of our wholeness, that remind us we're safe in our body, that we're safe to speak the truth, that we're safe to be exactly who and what we are. And in fact, life requires that of us. That only you can shine the gift you have come here to shine in the world. No one else can do it for you. If you don't allow that flowering of your heart, we miss out. I miss out. I don't get to learn from you. Everyone is a teacher. Everyone is a mirror. Everyone is required for this whole body of humanity. We're all these cells within the body. And in order for the whole body of humanity to thrive, we all need to take responsibility for looking at that soil of our heart and making sure it's nourished above all else. Everything stems from that. Everything. All of it. The one relationship with the self. That being in balance. So one of the main tools, one of the main places we can go every single day, every single moment to remember that connection is our breath. From birth to death, that is a strand of fluid, dancing, unobstructed, free-flowing life. It's just there, always. It's a signature of being alive. I've wondered at times when I'm working with a group of people and I see someone breathing maybe 10% of their capacity, if there's a pulse. And I will go over and see if this person is really alive. And in fact, there's a beating heart. So thank goodness. We can survive with this little strand of life, with this little strand of love. We can survive with that. But aren't we done with surviving? We're ready to thrive. Why not? You are perfect as you are. You are whole. All the other stuff is not even true. So the breath is there for us. And our fear can wrap around the respiratory system and can become entangled with the way that we're taking in life through the breath. Every inhale is an invitation to receive the nourishment of life, to receive the gift of life. Every exhale is an offering of your light back into the world. The trees breathe that back in. Every single human being receives that gift from you, and you don't even realize it. Or maybe you do. Yay, sometimes we do. My intention is that, I'm here for the long haul until we create a culture of understanding that this is so. That this breath is nourishing us every moment. So there's the breath, and there's also eating. Everyone is eating something. We're all breathing every single day, every moment. That's a signature of life. We're all eating something. We eat. Whether it's a small handful of rice, or it's a Happy Meal from McDonald's, which doesn't leave us feeling very happy for very long, right? But that's a meal. That's a staple for many human beings. Or we're eating this big green salad. whatever it is. We're all eating something. We're eating something on a physical level. We're eating something on an emotional level. We're eating something on a spiritual level. So food, our relationship to food, can become this entry point into remembering the way that life is always loving us and connecting with us. All the food that comes from the Mother Earth is medicine. Just interesting the way that happens, right? You see a sick person and they try all kinds of different things to get better. And at some point they say, I'm going to try just eating all fresh foods from my garden and just going back to basics. It's what's offered from Mother Nature. I'm going to see what happens with that. And miraculously, their body heals and they start to glow. I've seen it with hundreds of people over and over and over again. We eat the food from the Mother Earth. It's offered to us. We don't have to go through all the, frustration of packaging it and adding dyes and sugar to it and corn syrup and soy and cultivating all these sweatshops to put it together and neon lights that that are in the grocery store that make the package all bright and shiny and let us, draw us into it. But there it is, the Mother Earth. Hippocrates was right. Let food be thy only medicine, and let medicine be thy only food. So there is food. And I'm not here to tell you what to eat. I'm not here to tell anybody how to nourish their body. That's a personal, intuitive relationship. That's your sacred relationship with yourself. But I am here to ask the question, how have you associated food with love? Are there any foods that you're eating on a daily basis or a monthly basis that are actually depleting you? And yet mom or dad or grandma, somebody that you really love, maybe the first person who ever really reflected to you that you're whole, prepared that meal for you. And so it has that association with motherly love. And yet, on some level, it may be depleting the body. And so these are some things we need to get clear about in ourselves. And be willing to remove anything within our physical, emotional, spiritual diet that's not ultimately serving us and nourishing us. Because we're worth it. Every single living being is worth that. So let us eat from a table of abundance. Let us eat from a table of vibrant color and beauty. Let us eat foods that allow us to thrive and heal and grow. And what else is there? What else do we humans do as funny humans? What is it? We move. That's another signature of life. We breathe, we eat, and we move. And repeat. It's not so complicated, really, right? We're breathing, eating, and moving. Oh, big deal. However, with awareness, it's a whole nother world to breathe, eat, and move. And I don't mean just move, I mean dance. All life is dancing. There's not stagnance. When we believe, even for a moment, that there's stagnance, that we're stuck somewhere, that we don't have a choice to walk in any direction that we choose, when we get lost in all the places that our minds can go, the future, the past, stories about ourselves, stories about other people, and we feel completely imprisoned and cannot take a step in any direction because that whole story becomes the reality. It's not so fun, is it? So remembering that we do have a choice of what step we take. We do have a choice of how we express through this physical body. And as Vanessa said so beautifully yesterday, this physical form is not a mistake. This physical body is a vehicle for awakening. The Buddha said, be kind to your body. It is your vehicle for awakening. It carries you through this life. So loving this body, loving this form, and the way that your unique form expresses itself. Dancing freely, walking, moving, breathing, eating foods that are vibrant and live, and expressing from a place of wholeness, and relating from a fully embodied body to another fully embodied body. That is where we're moving in our humanity. When we're breathing, eating, and moving with awareness through this life, it becomes a heavenly experience. Life becomes heaven. Heaven is not somewhere 10 feet above your head. Heaven is not escaping the body and looking for some state of nirvana. Heaven is not being in Tahiti and never having to be on your cell phone again and living on a beach and drinking martinis. I guarantee you that would be boring right away. Heaven is knowing that you are whole and complete and beautiful exactly the way you are, and expressing your love freely without any fear, receiving love without any fear. That's heaven. That's a beautiful world. That's where we're going. That's what we're ready for. I had this interesting experience a couple days ago. I was sharing with a couple of you, I think, yesterday. I was making this raw, vegan, superfood chocolate in my blender. And it just so happens that blender was too full, and the lid was just a little loose. And with a high-powered blender, that's not a good combination. So very quickly, there was chocolate all over the walls in the kitchen, all over the equipment, all over the countertops, all over everything. Splattered everywhere. Now, by grace, I laughed hysterically when that happened. I could have contracted around it and just, which I have done in my life many times. We all have, had those moments where something happens like this, and we have the choice. We can contract around it and make it a problem, this present moment, this little gift that happened that we weren't planning on. But luckily, I was able to ride with it, and I laughed hysterically, and my husband also was there, and he just couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, the morning had a totally different purpose, a totally different flavor. So I was cleaning for an hour and a half. All of the walls got really clean, really clean. And Mother Teresa was great in that way too, because the first thing she would do anytime she would visit a new place and it was being converted into a shelter for the needy, she would clean for days with all of her attendants. They would clean from bottom to top. They would pull rugs out physically. The nuns would rip rugs out and sweep everything and wash the walls and the floors. There's a clarity that is available to us when our physical space is clean. So I just trusted, okay, the walls need to be clean and sparkly. And then the other thing that happened that morning, shortly after that, is my husband goes into the bathroom and I hear, "Shit!" And I ran over there. I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "I just broke the toilet seat in half." And he had stepped on it to get to something that was on a shelf. And it was a beautiful toilet seat, too. I really liked it. So it's broken in half. That was not quite as funny to me, but we went with that too. And that was just a part of the day as well. So I spoke with a dear friend about that later on, and she said, well, it sounds like the moral of that story, what the universe may be trying to tell you, is cut out all this shit and spread the chocolate. So depending on how you look at that, that can be really gross. But I don't think it's meant to be. I see that it fits perfectly into nourishment, because here we are, we've shared our shit with each other as a humanity. We've been there. We've done that. We got that t-shirt. All different colors of that t-shirt, all different styles. Okay. And it's time to close that chapter and open the chapter of spreading the love, spreading the medicine, spreading the beauty, sharing really deeply the gift of being alive, the beauty of being alive. And, we cannot deny any longer that we are connected. It's just not going to work. It's not possible. When those beloved children recently were killed in Connecticut, it sent a huge message and a huge grieving process. It initiated a grieving process for every human being on the planet. Whether they realized that had happened or not, whether we have a personal connection to the children who are no longer in their little bodies, or whether we agreed with what religion their parents practiced, whether we agreed with whatever the teachers who also were lost in that experience taught. Beyond our mind and what we thought about any of that or knew consciously, we all felt, and we continue to feel, that loss. And we look for what is really the message within that experience. I tell you, my heart is still feeling that, continuing to feel waves of that huge experience. And if only it brings the awareness that these violent guns are just not necessary anymore, then what a message. Look at all of the human beings who have died from gunshot throughout our humanity. A lot of people continuing to die through that form. And is it really necessary? We get to look at that. We get to really look at whether or not we want to continue to even have that in our human experience anymore. It's to really question that. And that's a gift. These opportunities to look at these difficult questions will continue to arise. Because just as those places of separation within us come like disowned, needy aspects of ourselves knocking at our door, asking for our attention, asking for our blessing, asking to come home, these places in our humanity where we have unconsciously turned away and unconsciously said, "You don't believe what I believe. So therefore, you do not exist. And you are not worthy of my presence and attention and love. So let's just destroy you completely." That action, that energy of separation cannot function with awareness of who we really are. It simply cannot function. So each time you come home to yourself and you nourish yourself and you love yourself, and not from the egoic place of I'm so cool and I'm so pretty and oh me, not from that place, no, but just from wow, I have this body and I have these eyes to receive all this light and all this information. I have these eyes that can look into your eyes and receive the gift, the magic that is there. From that place, you serve all beings. You have no idea how you serve all beings through that choice. And that is why Mother Teresa and who she was so powerful, because she lived from that state of undivided consciousness, of pure awareness, of pure love. She said many times, every time she'd pick up a body off the streets of Calcutta, that she was picking Jesus up off the street. She saw every single body, every single human being as God. And we all feel that. We continue to feel that. Martin Luther King Jr., what an inspiration. What an inspiration. His dream that one day we would all be holding hands together. Black and white and brown and yellow and red and green and all the colors, all the beautiful colors that we are. He knew the truth. And these beings know the truth. And they're not afraid to share that message. And you have that seed of truth within you. It's there. Are you going to nourish it? Are you willing? Are you willing to nourish that truth? Or are you going to be so fixated on your ideas and your beliefs and create that sense of false safety within this mind structure that serves in that way to just make you feel like you know what's going on? And are you going to miss out on the opportunity, the invitation that's there? I don't think we're willing to do that any longer. So that is something to celebrate. That is something to truly celebrate in this time. So I welcome you all to take a moment now just to close your eyes and revisit your toes, wiggle them around. Breathe into your legs, into your belly. Breathe into your heart. Breathe into your shoulders, your throat, your face and jaw, your ears, your eyes, crown of your head. Take a moment to really honor yourself for the courage it's taken you to walk every step in your life to bring you right here and right now to where you are today. Just offer yourself 3 breaths of gratitude. Now open that gratitude to every person who has ever reflected back to you the truth of what you are. Every single person that has reminded you of what is real and true and whole about you. And just extend that gratitude out. And extend that gratitude further to this planet, to all the living creatures that we share this space with. Inviting into our hearts all of those who have forgotten who and what they are. Offering so much love. Being the invitation to come home. And take another inhale through your nose. And then exhale, just sigh it out. And just do that 3 more times. Thank you all so much for being here in this space, sharing this space and in this time. And thank you all for being where you are around the world, listening to this, being a part of this movement and being who you are. And this concludes our nourishment time together. Maybe it begins it. Until we meet again, namaste.